Hey, it's the AfterBuzz TV Flash After Show. Tonight we're talking about Season 2, Episode 17, called Flashback. We're going to break down the episode, give our thoughts and predictions, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, hello! I love this song. This is the Flash After Show TV. Flash After Show, guys. Let's do some quick intros because we have a great episode to discuss. I'm Jeffrey Masters. I tweet from Jeff Masters 1.
I'm Micheal Drew. I tweet from Michael_Drew, Michael EAL.
And I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J, T-A-R-I-J-A-Y.
I'm Roxy Striar. You can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar or right now in the chat on YouTube talking with you guys and sharing all your thoughts.
Yeah, we love hearing from you. You can comment, rate, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, and of course, during the show, you can tweet at Roxy using hashtag ABTVFlash. I really like this episode. It was super fun, but before we get into it, who watched the crossover last night with Supergirl?
Oh, yeah.
It was so...
I lacked it. I missed it.
Just
My
fake
apologies.
It. Just kidding. Don't
Michael
fake it.
Drew's a purist.
I'm honest.
Yeah.
I don't only Flash.
I actually think you would really have enjoyed it, though, so you should go and,
I will.
And watch it. I guess maybe after, before, it doesn't really make a difference continuity-wise.
Yeah.
They're just like the power couple of like the show. I want them to date now, Supergirl and Flash.
A lot of people are shipping them online. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be the only one.
They look like a couple.
Yeah, they're adorable, but I totally love her and Jimmy, so I can't go there yet.
You know, I know there wasn't like a definite crossover from like I'm going to National City to see Supergirl. Is it National City?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not a freaking watcher of Supergirl, but I like that he was time traveling in this episode. Kind of made sense if he like took a break, you know, in that sense.
I just thought it was a really fun episode. I watch Supergirl every week, so I would have watched this regardless. I am curious for people who don't watch Supergirl if they understood everything going on. But for me, just watching these two team up, and ultimately, if you guys haven't seen it, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but the way that he gets back to our Earth was really cool, and their first interaction was so rad. I just love that they're going with it. They're just like, all right, we have these tools in our sandbox. Let's just kind of play with them as we please. It's awesome.
And Barry really fit into that world. And he got to have a lot of fun. Like, I felt like not just Barry, but Grant Gustin was able to splash around and play while he was there, which was really fun to see.
Yeah, and because he was so fun, it let the parts of the storyline that I didn't get because I don't watch Supergirl, it kind of let me just like forget about it and not care because it was fun.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It was also interesting because I never really was comparing characters on that show to our show, or to Flash, our show that we have
This is
made.
my show.
My show, people. But all these shows kind of do have like their very own teams. It's kind of the same setup, whether it's Arrow or Flash or Supergirl or iZombie for that matter. Even Lucifer is like getting his little team together. So I like that all the DC shows, they have this little formula they're trying to do. It's cool.
They all have like their own little Scooby gang. They all have their own little group.
Yeah, especially over at Supergirl. Like she literally has... not the equivalent to everybody.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
She has the tech whiz, who in this character named Wynn. She has the heartthrob, who is multiple characters on the Flash. But yeah.
They have someone naming the
She's got
characters.
the boss.
She's got, the boss character.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also like the jab at the Flash saying, you guys look like the racially diverse cast of a CW show.
Yeah, that was hysterical, and also insisting on calling him the Blur.
Yeah.
Which was, I loved it. So, I mean, the rest of the episode was what it was, but the actual team up was fabulous.
I love them so much. Let's get to this episode.
Yep.
Yeah, something I've seen.
Yeah, for Michael here. I was surprised that they started off the episode saying that what if you're not the fastest man alive?
Yeah.
Caitlin's always kind of negative, though. Yeah, or not even. I don't mean negative in a bad way. I mean she's the more protective one and always trying to kind of like make sure that nobody's getting hurt physically. So I think she can be a realist in that sense. Like, P.S. we've been doing this for a while, and like maybe you're just not the fastest man alive, despite what our introduction says.
Every episode, yes.
Yeah.
So I like that.
You need that. You need someone on your team who's going to tell you the truth.
Right.
Everyone can't just be like, no, you are the fastest one alive. Just, believe in yourself. You need someone to push you like that. And I love how it's very vivid that he has people faster than him, so he's always got something to aim for. And I like how they really made that evident, like the first part of this episode.
Yeah, and you know what? We as viewers know that this is based on a comic book, and the comic book has a world, and in that world there is a Superman, etc. in DC Comics. But the characters on The Flash don't know any of that backstory.
Yeah,
they don't know that he is the fastest man alive. So I like that we are questioning that.
Right.
It seems very real to me.
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that, but it's a good point.
Yeah, me either.
Oh, thank you.
Well done,
So
Jeff.
welcome.
That's why we keep you around.
Oh, sure, thanks. And I thought that was a cool impetus for this traveling back in time. What did you guys think about them choosing the Pied Piper episode to insert him into?
They clearly had a bigger goal here, which is to bring him back in as a series recurring or regular maybe at some point. I loved this character from the get-go, so I like that we found a way to get him back and potentially be involved as an arm of the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
No, yeah, I want to co-sign on that. Because in the comic books, Pied Piper's
Let me
actually...
get your signature right here.
Just sign it
here?
in. Yes. He's actually, in the comic book, he's kind of like a member of Flash's group of friends, like down the line, because he started off as a villain. And I like how they inserted him more so in this episode.
Yeah.
And I love his gloves. His gauntlets are just awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone who has gauntlets like that, you got to bring him back.
I also, not to predict or anything, but now that he's back, it means that we have a chance to kind of train Cisco as well, because he and Pied Piper both deal in different frequencies, and so I think that might be a good way to kind of introduce us into Cisco's powers.
I'm so sorry. I did not just expect for him to be joining on. You guys are assuming acting like he's going to be a full-fledged member.
No, I think that he's going to be our first phone call. We are
Okay.
outsourcing,
Phone a
so
friend.
yeah. I don't think he's part of the Scooby Gang. I think he is. He obviously knows that the Flash is Barry Allen, so
Yeah.
he's in the know. But I don't think he's quite at Cisco Caitlin level. So
Yeah, I mean, he was the real Harrison Wells' right-hand man for so long.
Yeah.
He was the baby Cisco, or the original Cisco. OG.
Proto Cisco.
Frodo. Jumping to the very end of the episode, when he said, I have a very special dinner to go to. And they were like, well, who is it? Because some things change in the time travel world, and because the Hartley character in Pied Piper has dated Captain Singh, I think in the comics sometimes, I was like, that's what's changed. He's dating Singh. This is his fiance, and he was going to dinner with him.
yeah,
It was not that, of course.
it was his parents,
Yes.
which was an interesting choice.
Well, it was such a big moment in the scene that I was like, this is a moment. And then for them to say, oh, it's my parents, I said, is that it? I just felt like there was a build-up.
Right.
This is interesting. Death Knight 717 says he's a villain turned hero. He reformed and reconciled with his parents. He's one of Wally's best friends.
Yes, right. Yes, Wally. You're right.
So that could be a cool, I don't even want to say playmate of Wally's, but we don't really know anybody that's
Yeah.
friends with Wally except for the people who's racing cars with we want to try to avoid that. So
Yeah.
maybe this could be a buddy of Wally's.
Maybe. I'm so fascinated by Wally's obsession with speed. I just can't wait to
love
see
it.
where that's going to go.
Yeah.
That's the intro. It's going to lead us somewhere. Every time
Yeah.
he talks about speed, I'm like,
It's awesome seeing that his obsession with speed actually is able to help Barry out tonight, when we always see the opposite of that. Barry helping Wally, Wally getting sick of it, Wally storming out. So this was cool.
Yeah. And just when Barry finally got to the other world, I didn't realize we were knocking that Barry out. And to see the Barry on Barry fight,
That was great.
there was all the camera angles that were moving up the fire escape. Some parts of it where you could tell were computer animated, but it was just so cool to watch. I didn't care.
yeah.
The actual choreography during that was awesome. When we got up onto, what is that called? The
fire
the
escape.
the fire. What is that called that you need to live if there's a fire? The fire escape, when we did like a backflip onto that and whatever those moves were. So sick. And interesting because I feel like we would see that way more often on Arrow. On Flash, everything speeded up. Here we had it slowed down, and usually Arrow, he does all of his fight choreography, but I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I think Barry was actually like kind of doing some stuff, maybe like a little bit of a jump. I don't think he really did the full-fledged backflip, but he looked like he was really in it.
Well, I mean, I kind of think it was the exact opposite, because I think the whole thing it seemed all CGI. It seemed like
The whole thing to you?
Yeah, it seemed the whole fight was CGI, which was cool.
Did
it
you
worked
mind?
for me. Huh?
Did you mind?
No, I mean, there's some parts where the camera was right on his face and he looked like a cartoon, but it didn't bother me.
Like when they were moving together, it didn't bother me. But like you're right. I mean, on the face was very apparent. But like, I just thought it was such a fun fight.
It was an epic fight scene. It was just a really like back and forth epic fight scene that I loved. I didn't think it was going to go in that direction.
Yeah.
For the intro.
What are you gasping about, Roxy?
We're not there yet.
Oh.
Do you want to save it?
Yep.
Is this a teaser?
No, it's a great question that wasn't on my mind. I'll save it for predictions.
Okay,
and
wait.
I'll take credit for it. Just kidding, CJ. I got you later on.
Classic.
So we finally get to the Starb Labs in this back in time world, and I gotta give props to Harrison Wells because it was so exciting for me to see Harrison Wells back as like the Eobard Thawne version with his glasses and his wheelchair. And I say props to the actor Tom Cavanaugh. Is it Tom Cavanaugh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Did I get it right?
Nailed it.
Tom Cavanaugh, because we've seen him all season as Earth 2 Harrison Wells. And for me to like be excited to see him again, I think is like just showing how good of an actor he is and how subtle the changes are. Because right away I said, "Oh my God, it's Eobard Thawne's Harrison Wells," and it's it's still the same actor.
He is a vet. He's a true vet.
Yeah.
Veterinarian.
Yeah, I just think he's really good with the animals. No,
You can call her Caitlin. Just kidding.
I know you are. I know you're kidding. No, he's incredible. He's very talented, and like you said, just those distinct choices he's making. It was so easy for us to tell. If that had been a scene from this season, I would have been like, "Wait, that's not right." Like, you can place it so easily. He's very, very talented guy.
Yeah.
To co-sign on that too, I kind of felt the same way with Barry. Even though it was a really small moment when we saw the past Barry, but when at the very end when they had those moments of them interacting with each other, he just seemed so much more mature. The one that was coming from the future, from our current Barry, he just seemed so much more mature, and I think it just shows a lot of range between all the actors when you see that back and forth between their past characters and this character. Except for Cisco. I think Cisco asked the same. I don't think there's any difference. If Cisco met each other, they'd be like, "Whoa, bro!"
Is that the final word on it?
I mean, yeah.
Cisco acts a little different. We do get that one line. He's like, "It's not like I can sense where things are or what they're doing at that time period, whatever." So
That's not funny.
he has changed.
Okay, but when he was Echo? No. What was his
Reverb.
Reverb.
Yeah.
Reverb, Vibe, Echo. When he was Reverb, that was awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely different. But the
Cool
Eobard
t-shirts.
Thawne, the Eobard Thawne scene where they're squaring off in like the time vault.
Oh, that was epic.
Oh, it was just like two like people with such authority who respected and feared each other, and I love that scene.
It was cool seeing the stronger, better Barry meeting the old Eobard Thawne.
Yeah.
You know, and I kind of wish he wasn't in the shackles. I was
Right.
kind of hoping for a fight. A little bit, you
I
know.
liked the intellectual duel a little bit more because I really miss this Thawne because he's so crafty and like really well put together, and like there's so many emotional stakes there that it makes you crave it all the time. So I really enjoyed that aspect. So I'm glad that ultimately they had to come to a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough because what we attempted to accomplish, and I feel like we did accomplish with this episode, is going back in time in rewatching something but making it interesting and making it your own. So it's crazy to me that we're only one season away from that point, but we went back and we were fascinated in the storyline part of Pied Piper that we've already seen, part of Thawne we've already seen, all of these things we've witnessed, but now coming back, we missed them, we craved them, we wanted that back, and I love that character so much that, you're right, that intellectual duel, it was like, oh wow, I forgot that I want this.
Yeah,
I
it
love that
reminded
for
you.
him. Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Totally. And then when they were dueling, how he dropped that we're not the only speedsters out there.
Yes.
I was just like, tell me more, baby.
Tell me more.
Yeah, he's like, well, there's this other lady speedster that just came to town, but I don't got time for that right now.
Right. There's somebody named Wally something, and I'm
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, and then when Barry was with other Barry, and he walked up, and Cisco and Caitlin, and well, Caitlin gave me the dart. Well, not this Caitlin. Like, that was just a really fun scene.
Yeah.
I think it just could have come off as so dumb.
No, I mean, I thought it was funny. I was just, when it all got to that convoluted part, it just got me scared. I was kind of hoping, I was telling this to Tauri before, that it would kind of end up where no one remembers what happened. Because it kind of makes it more complicated when he comes back.
I completely agree. I don't know. I hope we haven't put ourselves up against a wall here, because I don't know how we're going to live the past year and figure out exactly what's happened. There's no way that can be accomplished in one episode, especially Barry leaves. He says, P.S., he totally knows where Ronnie is. Like, just...
Yeah, it's just a lot of extra stuff.
Starts dropping things, lets them know that he's going to the future. Obviously, Pied Piper joining the team in some capacity. All of these things that are already apparent. What else?
Yeah. I think they'll sprinkle it in throughout the rest of the season. Like, we have about 5 episodes left, so we'll kind of start seeing some ramifications.
5 episodes are being spread out through 2 years.
Yeah.
Through an episode
See
every
you
3
guys
weeks.
in 2017
April
for the season
19th.
finale.
Are you kidding me, CW?
I don't
Are
know.
you kidding me?
I don't know why they're stretching it out so much. For everyone at home, we're going to be back April 19th with the next episode. Crazy. Do we think that the rest of the season we're going to be dealing with these, like, vestiges from, like, time change that he's done?
I don't. I actually think that's it. I don't think they're going to talk about it again.
How is it possible that that's the only change that happened? I do think that's what we're going to see, Jeff, which I don't actually want to see. I'd rather us kind of just, like, get a bunch of bricks dumped on us, me try to sort it out, and then us move forward than, like, oh, here's a little nugget, and here's the nugget, and here's the nugget, and P.S., we're going to use this as a loophole, because actually that didn't happen, although you guys thought it did because you watched it.
Right.
So I hope it just kind of all comes flooding in at once, and then I'm like, all right.
I mean, there's a chance that we may not see anything, mostly because since Thawne was such an experienced time traveler, he may have been able to correct the time, or at least some parts of the broken timeline in that year before he died or whatever.
I would agree, but we already saw Pied Piper.
Fair enough.
I agree with what you're saying, Roxy, though. I really don't want it spread out anymore. Just because literally anything is possible with the time change, and it's not a show about time travel.
Yeah.
That happened. What was that other show called?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Anything was possible. And with this,
Legends of Tomorrow. Very good
No,
call.
nothing current. Iris and him, they could have been married. Joe could have been dead. And I think it's going to feel like a gimmick. And because they can pull out anything, it's just going to feel like, well, are we still dealing with this? But really, we have bigger things called Zoom to deal with.
People in the chat have mixed opinions on how we're going to handle the situation. Some people think that there will be no other changes, and some people think that this is going to mess everything up. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah. I feel like, and maybe it's because we've had time travel so many times in the show so far that I feel like each time it happens, it becomes more, loose in terms of consequences. Because
Right, we have it under wraps more, kind of.
And so, we get more rules and we get, and so, for example, when we had the earlier version of Thawne come back through into the future, right? And then we end up sending him into the past, etc. I feel like the more we get stuff like that, the more it's not like, oh my gosh, what's going to change? And it's just like, all right, time travel's weird. things happen, and then we move forward. So essentially, we just start seeing it as one singular line that people are popping in and out of throughout time, but and less of a circular thing that people keep changing.
I'm trying to understand. I get what you said. What are your feelings on that? Positive or negative?
Positive. I like especially when time travel is introduced into a show. I like when it becomes the word is coming to mind is laissez-faire, but that's not the word. Like when it becomes just a part of the world, and it's not like a game-changing thing.
I think the only problem with that for me is I love our world so much. I love Iris. I love Joe West. I love who Wally's becoming within their family. And when we travel so much, I feel like it's going to become a show about the Flash traveling.
Interesting.
I don't think it's that we're going to travel so much. I think that it'll be used as a necessary plot device at times. And I also am with you a bit, Tauri. Correct me if I'm wrong and you disagree with me, but I think when you watch these shows, you just have to accept it. Like, all right, whether that actually is what would happen if time travel existed, which, by the way, it doesn't, so none of us really actually know.
What are your data on this? How can you prove it?
Well, I could show you all of my notes with all the numbers, my phone book.
Do you have a line chart?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we'll do that next episode.
Tauri, get working on that line chart.
Right.
So I think that it's one of those things where, like the frickin' episode with the magnets that I always mention, and the magnets all go up, and it's like, that's outrageous. That's not what happened. You got to get over it. You got to move on, and you just kind of have to be like, all right, that was what it was. It was time travel.
I mean, we had the massive break in the middle of the season, and we came back. I think this is the strongest episode since we've come back, and because I enjoyed the episode so much, I was able to let go of little things that kind of made me say, huh? Like, I like that he had a reason for Harrison / Ebar not to kill him, but the fact that it was like a hidden letter, I just thought there could have been like a more creative way to like imply that.
Do we believe him even?
No, of course he didn't.
No. But he had no choice. He was about to die. I mean, I thought it was quick thinking.
Yeah.
He was about like...
The whole thing was quick thinking, saying like, oh, by the way, you won and did everything.
But I just imagine like an origami like piece of paper underneath Allen's like pillow at night, and he goes to bed and he's like, wait, what's underneath this? Oh, a hidden letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, like little things like that, like it made me say, but it did not like bother me immensely.
Like I scheduled a text message to go off if I do not stop it. Yeah,
in 30 minutes. What kind of precedents in the comics are the time rates?
Go ahead.
I've never seen the time rate in that comic. I didn't.
I haven't seen it either. Like, I think the closest thing is, what is it called? Like Black Flash, the Flash of Death, the one that like takes all speedsters away. That seems like the closest thing, especially in terms of its design, because it did, if you like, when they had the close-ups, it was basically like wearing an old Flash suit, and it was just like a skeletal version of a Flash, or like of a speedster.
Oh, interesting.
I liked this device, but it didn't feel very our universe to me. It felt like we were combining a show with our show. But when it came, I was like, huh. Well,
it did feel like it came a little bit out of nowhere.
I think it was the graphics, because like they said, it was very Harry Potter-esque.
Yeah.
And it felt of that world. It was the most magical thing we've ever seen beyond the Legends Tomorrow villain we battled. You know, we're not dealing with magic stuff usually. There's like a scientific, even a broad scientific excuse for a lot of things.
Even if it is magic, this was very fantastical.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it, but I couldn't stop staring at it.
Right.
I agree. I did not hate it, but I think that we're getting more into that world, and I feel like maybe we're just kind of being eased into it over time. The magic wands and Hawk Girl, and now the time breaks.
going on Arrow,
Right,
which is the same.
Yeah, and I think that like I'm excited for that. Actually, I'm looking forward to it.
I was kind of hoping for more of an explanation about a time wraith.
Me too.
That's what I felt was lacking.
Do you think it's coming, maybe? Maybe this is just an introduction to something that will be an ongoing problem?
No, because there's no one else to give the introduction.
Well, if Barry does it again, if anybody else ever time travels, we have multiple speedsters.
It could also be what they described it this episode: traveled through time and doesn't know what they're doing. They could build on that. Cisco could say, like, oh, and that means this, and they're here for that.
I guess it's kind of like time police,
Yeah,
like time demonic.
a ranger
ghoulish
maybe, like a
police.
time ranger. I just, yeah. There was a definite fantastical element on it. I wonder if anybody was bothered by that or not. It just was not of this show. I think you're very much correct in that.
Right. I mean, the only thing that I could see it, like, actually connecting into the world that we've established is if the time wraiths are created by, like, the Time Masters, and they're like the Kraken of the Time Masters.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. But, like, that's
That
not
would
what
be
was explained.
sick.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Tauri.
You just wrote a whole new damn season.
Yeah, but how awesome would that be if we got a hint of that tonight? Like,
Yeah.
even if they mentioned one of the Time Masters that we've met or anything, like, Bua sent this or
Right.
whatever. That would have been so cool. We'll see. That's awesome.
yeah.
You should write for the show. Congratulations.
Let everyone know. Start tweeting.
You got the
start
job,
your
sir.
campaign.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And so we did make it back to our Earth with the tachyon enhancement algorithm, formula, whatever you want to call it. I'm excited to see how that plays out. There looked like there was a lot of information when they projected it out.
They were like, we have the key now. And I was like, do we?
I don't know what
Where
it
is
means.
it?
It's like 4 times 5. Like, all right, there it is, guys.
More details, please.
Well, I guess the Supergirl crossover kind of, in a way, spoiled or gave hints of where it's going. In that, when he comes into her dimension, he's wearing a device like what was on the Reverse Flash's outfit.
Yes.
Huh.
So, I mean, that might be the way he breaks through.
Interesting. Accidentally. They said it was an accident, right? When
Yeah.
he showed up on her Earth.
Yeah.
So as far as we know, that was in Earth 3.
That's just what nobody's referred to it as that but me, I don't think. But
I'm
just
quoting
to keep,
you, Roxy.
to keep my mind straight, I mean, we're calling Flash Arrow Earth 1. Then we're calling wherever we went where Joe West is dead, Earth 2.
Right.
And then Supergirl would be Earth 3.
Okay, and then within these Earths, Grodd and
Is it Earth 2?
it was
Yes.
Earth 2. And what was the city? Grodd City? No.
Gorilla City.
Gorilla City. Earth 2.
Probably turn it to Groud City.
Right.
Yeah, right. So that's Earth 2, we think. We probably know.
No,
that.
yeah,
It's Earth 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I wonder, like some lawyers watch How to Get Away with Murder and they're like, this is garbage. Or doctors watch Grey's Anatomy. I wonder what like scientists who know these formulas know when they're like projecting the formulas out.
X would never go in that
Yeah.
location.
Yeah, they're like, that's the formula for like
Vinegar.
I know. Yeah. This is hand lotion.
Vinegar oil.
Tari's our scientist. We could just ask him.
Well,
I'm asking.
I think they're relatively accurate, I'd say, especially for all these theoretical physics.
Now you know how to time travel, I hear.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
just
my
by
God.
reading the equation on the board.
What if he just did it? We didn't even know.
I knew. He kicked me under the
Is
table.
that why you brought it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
cool.
knew.
Hey, stop
He actually
telling
took
my
me
secret.
with him. Sorry.
If we're done with the bit, we can move back to our.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm done now.
I want
Sorry.
to discuss the Eddie moment.
By far and away my favorite moment of the entire episode.
I have some issues with it.
Okay, start, and then we're all gonna negate what you're gonna say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't think, like, if she's trying to get over her dead ex, showing her a video of him confessing how much he misses her and loves her, or how much she means to him, I don't know if that's helpful.
It's helpful because of the words she said.
I don't even know if that's maybe, but if he was still alive, this isn't helpful. Getting over your ex by watching videos is not helpful. Getting over somebody who is dead, you don't really get over from them. You
Yeah.
move on. You move forward. And I think that this is what she needed to help move forward. If you ever listened to, because they say the first thing that goes is sound, for you can't remember the way somebody sounds. And after a while that starts to eat at you. And I'm sure she's looking through these photographs and just like trying to remember his voice and looking for anything because it was her best friend.
Okay.
So I don't think she's looking at this as like a way to re-fall in love with him. This is just something like he wants her to be happy. She has a little bit of closure, and oh my God, I thought it was so beautiful. I don't even actually know all the words he said.
Yeah.
I just like saw his face and started bawling because that feeling, just you could see it in her. Oh, so good.
Okay. That was a good explanation.
Thank you.
That was very good. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was really nice. I just think that in terms of like, if she's trying, it just seemed that she missed him and she was having a hard time not missing him.
Right.
I would just think that would make her miss him more.
Yeah,
Probably a little.
Like I wouldn't do that. Like if I knew you were going through something, I wouldn't be like, oh, she's trying to forget. I'm not trying to forget him, but she misses him a lot. So let me just give her something that's gonna make her miss him even more. Here you go.
Right.
I just don't know.
But no,
I
it's
didn't think
not
that's-
about missing. It's about this is a beautiful, happy memory that is now the first thing she's going to think of when she thinks about Eddie for the next 6 months.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tauri.
Sorry, I guess I get what you're saying mostly because it was preceded by, when are you gonna move on? And then he gives her this video. So I guess that line kind of speaks to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the moment had a lot of heart, so I see what they're saying as well. I mean, I'm not the authority on grieving, but like, I think that
Nor am I,
none of us.
Anybody
I
actually-
am.
yeah,
So
me
I
too,
will
actually.
say- well, I will say this. Time is obviously going to be the best thing to help her because as she gets older and she becomes 30 and 40 and 50, Eddie in her mind is going to stay the age he was when he died. He's going to be about 29. And so that time will be amazing for the grieving process. But until then, these happy memories are going to help her move on.
right.
It's only been a year. And like for us, I feel like it's been so long, but this poor girl, she's been through a lot. And I think that you're right. It might make her miss him more. I think that's okay. I think she's allowed to miss him more while also pursuing other people. And
dating
so
her boss.
And dating her boss, which she's like, well, it's not really like that. And it is.
Yes, it
apparently
is.
it's totally like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. And by the way,
Yes. Say
Yeah.
something. You can say
sorry,
something.
because you know I've been angry about this all week. To anybody out there in the Twitter universe who was talking about Iris's boss obviously assuming it was a date because of her attire, because of it being low cut, go legitimately like do something not good to yourself because that is so rude.
Yeah.
She's the most beautiful person. She's allowed to dress however she wants, but she does look very professional.
Okay, that aside, though, there's nothing wrong with what she was wearing.
Yeah, she was dressed regular.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She was dressed very professional, so I don't think she. I just want to say I don't think she like was saying anything to her boss, and he went over the top. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
it seems like she actually does like him. So
You're exactly
No,
right.
yeah. I mean, unless
I had to rant for a
unless your
second.
shirt says this is a date, there's nothing about what you
Yeah.
wear that implies anything's a date.
right.
Yeah.
I should get myself one of those. It would probably avoid a lot of awkward conference. You know, like,
You know
was
why
that
we're
a date?
here.
I'm married.
I think. Hi. I think that I like the reminder that this was just a year ago, like you said, Roxy, because it's her fiance. This would stay with her for a long time. So I like that reminder that like this is still an issue. We're still figuring it out.
And
true.
it's not her fiance who got sick and she sat by his bedside every day and they talked everything through. He killed himself.
Sacrifice, yeah.
And he sacrificed
Suddenly.
himself.
Everybody, yeah.
Right.
Sorry, as that would happen.
Right.
I said it.
No, but you're right. Suddenly, and so she didn't get that.
Yeah.
So I think that this was so selfless of Barry to do, to bring it back and to give her advice on these dating relationships. The whole thing is kind of like, you guys know, because we think they might end up together. It's a little weird,
Well,
but
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
selfless.
And to go off that, this is such a show of love that Barry, he had no part. If this part of the episode could have been taken away and nothing would have changed, right? It was like a bonus for us. And it was just the most massive gift,
Yeah.
I think. And it just put it in my head that wow, they care about each other, and wow, like when they do end up together, because I do believe they will, they're gonna be an amazing couple.
Yeah, it's real love. It's
And
real
they're
genuine.
so supportive.
Selfless love,
yeah,
yeah.
it is,
And I'm just ready to see that because I think it's gonna be really special. I'm crying.
I cried during the episode, during the Eddie part. None of you guys turned around. I kind of wanted you to see my tears.
Like,
Nobody
watch me
cared.
cry.
I
I
could
almost
hear
cried,
them.
but thugs can't.
I cried once.
I could hear them as they hit the ground.
It's a thug rule. We can't cry.
Yeah. I feel you.
Speaking of like selfless people, I wouldn't consider Harrison that, but in the pursuit of this entire season, the pursuit of rescuing Jesse Quick, his daughter, he did everything possible. He met with the devil, aka Zoom. He worked with him. Everything was about that. So I really feel horrible for him that now she's got on her bus and gone off.
It makes you a little more upset at how she was reacting to him last week.
Yeah. And now
And
he's-
me personally. I can't speak for anyone else.
Yeah,
but me.
and now he's like searching for her constantly. I said, like, he gave everything for you, baby.
He did, but I think that what she's doing right now is whether we believe what she needs, she definitely believes she needs it. Somebody who doesn't want to be found, it's way easier to hide than it is to find somebody. So I'm not surprised that he can't in a city. Where'd you go? Opal City.
Yeah.
This isn't even his Earth.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where's he even look? He doesn't even know. If somebody's like Opal City, he's got to pull out a freaking map.
Yeah. And she's also a teenager. You know, that's how teenage kids act. They don't make sense.
Who she is?
Yeah.
She confused me the
I
whole
think
time,
we've
honestly.
decided her age is 20. But
I'm
I'm
gonna
not
go with 19.
19.
18 or 19.
19 and a half.
I gotta
Every
keep that
time
teen.
I
I gotta
say
keep
an
that teen.
age, everybody corrects me. And last we heard she was 21, but then we saw she couldn't drink at the bar, so she's not that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so she's 59, guys.
I think 59 is the final word, so we're
Yes.
going to segue to
Dog
predictions.
years, yeah.
Thank you, Tauri.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So, in the preview coming up, we see that Zoom is back. We see that Jay is back as Zoom. We see him like saying Zoom's words out of his voice, with Zoom's voice. And then we also saw that Jay with like a big hairy beard, and they were calling him a serial killer. So I'm just trying to wonder at this point, how many Jays are there?
Like, and they're calling him Hunter. They're calling him Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, they call him Hunter
Solomon.
Zolman, yes.
Yeah.
So
Which doesn't make sense, if I can say, because Zolman sounds like a Jewish last name. There's never been a single Jewish serial killer. So, like,
a
I'm
lot of
calling
Nobel
BS.
Prize winners, just saying.
David
Yeah.
Berkowitz.
okay.
So, what does this have to do with our benchman?
I was about to ask the same thing. I don't know.
The guy that we introduced as Hunter Zolman on the bench, the artist or whatever he was.
He's an answer to something, though. He's got to be.
No,
Right?
I don't think he's an answer. I think he is something. But maybe we just said the same thing.
Well, no, I
maybe
mean-
him being something is an
He's,
answer.
I'm just saying he's got to lead somewhere. Like finding him is going to be something.
Right.
I just am wondering at this point, all signs lead to. I'm wondering if the Jay Garrick that we knew was in fact bad. We don't know that. We saw him dead, and like the Zoom pulled off his mask and it was Jay's face. But if there's 1,000 Jay Garricks or Hunter Zolmans, this guy could have genuinely been good.
Or at some point it could have switched. I agreed with you. However, the previews for next week make me think otherwise. I think we got burned.
We won't know. 'Cause
And
we
by
can't
next
a-
week, I mean April 19th.
We can't ask him. It's all going to be all hearsay now.
I'm gonna go with. I don't know if anyone made this assumption already, but I think the serum that he took, V9, V8,
Velocity
V6,
9.
yeah.
Oh, did he?
V8 splash.
V8 tropical. The V that he took, I think it somehow led to him having a split personality. He was split,
Right.
and the J they had was a good J. I think it was a real, genuine good J. But then again, why didn't he tell them? Why didn't he say anything?
He was a big secret keeper.
yeah.
Yeah. But that
Secret
could-
Life of Jays.
It's part of the reason why I think you're onto something, because why else would we have spent an entire episode last week showing what V9 does to somebody's personality? So I think that could have been some foreshadowing there.
Fascinating.
Maybe Jay was showing he showed Caitlin Hunter Solomon, right? Solomon?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe he was doing that as kind of like he was leaving a clue for her because he couldn't. Maybe for some reason he couldn't tell her the whole story, so he was just leaving her a clue that when it goes down, he's the key. You have to find that guy.
Perhaps.
That's the best thing you said all night.
Well, they're in there. They're
Roxy,
in
what
there.
was the thing you were laughing at earlier?
Yeah, I was I don't know if I was laughing, but it excited me. So maybe just like very giddily smiling.
Oh, what was the thing that excited you that you're getting smiling about?
Great question, Jeff. This is coming from CJ Houston, who said, do you guys think Barry changed things to where Wally has powers now?
Wow.
So him going back in time and whatever he did actually affected something with Wally.
I do not know how we could prove that unless he, at this moment, has powers. And it's like, well, he's had it all along. And I do not think the writers would do that to us. I think the learning process of, oh my god, I have powers, how do they work, is too exciting for viewers to watch.
But we have seen it before. We have seen the I have powers, how does it work? So maybe they just think like, all right, we already did that.
Maybe?
And in addition from the chat, Dark BioCloud said she's going to come back as a speedster, referring to Jessie when she eventually does come back from Opal City.
Possibilities.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, Houston. CJ Houston, like the city. Come on, Roxy. Sorry, CJ. I got you, buddy.
I think...
I mean, you're an East Coaster, though.
So what?
Houston.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That's why.
That's true.
That's what I
Right.
blew
No,
it,
I
though.
get you, though.
I blew it.
You know how writers and producers pay attention to how much people like characters and don't like characters? For example, Felicity, we loved in the Arrow, and they made her a series regular. Unintentionally. They were like intentionally then, but originally she was a one episode girl.
Right?
I wonder if the viewers did not fall in love with Jessie quick as intended or as much as needed, and I wonder if we're not going to ever see her become her speedster potential for that reason.
No, because they wrote her character as so frustrating that they had to know they were doing that.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're supposed to feel about her exactly how we feel right now, which is like, oh, girl, come on. I don't think
Right.
anybody like hates her. I think that
But
people
they were
are just
annoyed by her.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be an amazing transformation when she comes back and is like, look, I have powers and I'm fun.
Yeah, it's a good starting place for her to have an arc, you know? Because everyone has to start somewhere.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now we're speedsters.
I just wonder if that... Yeah, I mean, yes. Yeah, I will always support art. I just wonder if I'll care. But no, I will give anybody a chance. And just like I'll give you guys a chance to say goodbye. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
That's it.
No.
Fantastic. Let us know where we can find you on the social media so we can continue the conversation till the 19th. Roxy?
You guys can find me everywhere at Roxy Striar, and thank you guys for joining me in the chat live today. You're so awesome as always. We're there every single Tuesday, 9 p.m. Pacific time, starting April 19th, I guess.
Yep. And I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me at Tauri J, TaurijAY.
I'm Micheal Drew. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michael_Drew, Michael EAL.
Cool, and I tweet from Jeff Masters 1. We'll see you next time. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.